Until the dream comes true, I walk through dust and dawn, carrying quiet wishes the night has not withdrawn. The road is long and restless, the sky unsure of blue, but hope sits in my pocket, whispering, I'm with you. I have spoken to the silence that lives between my fears. I have built small boats of courage and sailed them through my tears. Every step a question, every breath a climb, every heartbeat telling me, your moment waits in time. The world may turn its back on plans I hold inside. Storms may shake the fragile faith I try so hard to hide. But somewhere in the distance, beyond the doubt I knew, a door stands slightly open until the dream comes true. I've seen the mountains laughing at how small I seem, yet still I lace my broken shoes and walk toward the dream. The wind may steal my comfort, the night may steal my sight, but morning writes in golden ink, do not give up the fight. I gather scattered failures like stars I couldn't keep. I plant them in the soil of promises I reap. Not every tear is weakness, not every fall is loss. Some roads are built from lessons carved beneath the cross. I have tasted bitter endings that taught my soul to wait. I have knocked on heavy doors guarded tight by fate. Each no became a stepping stone beneath my wounded shoe, leading me a little closer until the dream comes true. I speak to my reflection when courage runs away. Stay. I tell the trembling heart, just stay another day. The mirror shows a warrior the world has never seen, a quiet kind of hero walking roads in between. Between the wish and winning, between the dark and dawn, there lives a silent promise quietly moving on. It breathes in every effort. It grows in all we do. It lives in stubborn hearts that say, I will make it through. Until the dream comes true, I'll trust the unseen thread that stitches hope to broken nights where silent prayers are said. I'll build my house of patience, brick by fragile brick, and learn that slow becoming is still a magic trick. If doubt should knock at midnight dressed in heavy gray, I'll light a candle made of faith to show it on its way. For shadows only deepen when we forget the sun, but even the longest race begins with someone who has begun. I have begun 1,000 times with shaking, tired hands. I have redrawn my destiny on shifting, fragile sands. The waves erased my efforts, the tide ignored my plea, yet still I write my dreams again beside the endless sea. Because somewhere past the breaking, past the almost through, past the nights I almost stopped, the dream is waiting too. Not rushing, not fading, not lost within the blue, just patient as the sunrise, until the dream comes true. I carry seeds of someday in pockets torn and thin. I water them with courage found trembling deep within. They sleep beneath the surface where no one else can see, but roots are growing quietly inside the heart of me. Let others chase the lightning, let others fear the fall. I am walking with tomorrow, hearing its distant call. Step by step through doubt's cold rain, through skies of broken hue, I keep my eyes on something bright, until the dream comes true. I do not need a perfect path, just one that leads ahead, a place to rest my weary hope, a stone to lay my head. For even stars seem hopeless in daylight's louder view, yet night reveals their shining, until the dream comes true. So let the clocks keep ticking, let seasons turn and fly, let time test every fragile hope I lift into the sky. I am more than fleeting fear, more than what I knew. I am the promise I have made until the dream comes true. And if I fall 1,000 times, I'll rise 1,000 more, because the dream is not a myth, it's something worth the war. Worth the tears and trembling nights, worth the long pursue, worth becoming someone new. Until the dream comes true, I have learned that waiting is not the same as still. Sometimes the quiet seasons are shaping iron will. Beneath the soil of patience where unseen labors brew, the roots are pushing deeper, until the dream comes true. The rain has soaked my confidence. The thunder shook my name. There were nights I almost folded in the wrestling with shame. But pain became a teacher with lessons sharp but true, saying, strength is slowly carved, until the dream comes true. I have walked through empty hours where hope felt paper thin, where every door I knocked upon would not invite me in. Still something in my chest refused to bid adieu. A tiny, stubborn heartbeat, until the dream comes true. The world will hand you reasons to settle where you stand, to trade your sky of promise for safety's smaller land. But I have seen horizons calling souls like me and you, wide as faith and far as fire, until the dream comes true. Each scar upon my journey is proof I did not hide, proof I faced the crashing waves instead of letting slide, proof I dared to want a life my younger self once drew, a picture wrinkled, faded, until the dream comes true. I talk with stars at midnight like old and faithful friends. They tell me, every darkened road is where the daylight bends. The night is not your enemy. It's just a passing view, a bridge you must keep crossing, until the dream comes true. So I collect small victories the world may never see, a fear I did not listen to, a step I dared to be, a moment I chose courage when comfort said, don't do. These quiet wins are building, until the dream comes true. I am not late, I tell myself I'm simply being made. The finest blades are forged where heat and pressure stayed. The wait is not a punishment. The delay is not a cue to quit the road I'm walking, until the dream comes true. Some days the dream feels distant, like a shore beyond my sight, but oceans are not crossed in leaps. They're crossed in strokes of might. One breath, one push, one wave at a time the swimmer knew, the land appears before him, until the dream comes true. I have forgiven yesterday for not becoming more, for every plan that stumbled at possibility's door. The past is just a chapter, not the final view. The story still is writing, until the dream comes true. And when exhaustion whispers, rest here, do not try, I rest, but not in surrender, just a steady breath and eye. For even soldiers of the soul must pause to start anew, then rise with clearer vision, until the dream comes true. I have met fear face to face and called it by its name. It shrank a little smaller when I refused its claim. It feeds on our surrender, grows when we misconstrue, but fades before persistence, until the dream comes true. The mirror now reflects someone weathered, yet awake. A heart that bends like branches but never truly breaks. A soul that learned that storms are not what we are doomed to. They only test our anchors, until the dream comes true. Let laughter be my medicine. Let gratitude be light. Let kindness be the compass guiding me through night. For bitterness is baggage no traveler should pursue. I walk with lighter spirit, until the dream comes true. I do not chase perfection. I chase becoming whole, gathering scattered pieces of a once uncertain soul. The cracks let in the sunlight, the breaks let wisdom through. Nothing here is wasted, until the dream comes true. If ever doubt returns to ask, what makes you think you can? I'll point to every mile I walked without a perfect plan, to every time I stood again when strength felt overdue, and say, because I still move, until the dream comes true. So here I stand, not finished, not where I want to be, but closer than the yesterday that once discouraged me. The road behind proves something, the road ahead does too. I am becoming daily, until the dream comes true. There are mornings made of iron, heavy on the chest, where even hope seems tired and courage needs a rest. Still, I rise with quiet will the way the sun must do, climbing over shadows, until the dream comes true. I've bartered sleep for visions only my heart could see, paid in doubt and discipline, in who I dared to be. The cost was never comfort, the price was always grow. So I watered seeds of future in the soil of long ago. The crowd may cheer for victories dressed in shining light, but I salute the hidden wars we fight alone at night. The tears no one applauded, the battles no one knew, those built the bridge I'm crossing, until the dream comes true. I've learned that faith is not a shout but sometimes just a breath, a whisper saying, take one step, while standing close to death, of plans that didn't make it, of roads we outgrew, of versions of ourselves we shed, until the dream comes true. There were doors I prayed would open that never turned their key. Now I bless those locked beginnings that redirected me. For not all paths are losses when they disappear from view. Some endings are protection, until the dream comes true. I carry now a quieter strength, less noise, but deeper ground, like rivers under winter ice still moving without sound. Not every force is thunder, not every power is loud, Some destinies are shaped beneath humility's soft cloud. I speak with time like an old friend who knows what I can be. It smiles and says, "Keep walking, the rest belongs to me." So I release the frantic need to know just how or when, and trust the slow unfolding of the why beyond the then. The dream is not a castle floating far above the sky. It's built from daily choices only steady hearts apply. From showing up when tired, from trying something new, from daring to continue, until the dream comes true. I have stitched my hope with patience, thread by fragile thread, mended tears of yesterday where silent sorrow bled. Now even broken fabrics form patterns strong and new, a tapestry of staying, until the dream comes true. If ever I grow weary of believing what's unseen, I'll remember who I was before I chose this dream. The smaller, safer version who feared what life might do. I owe it to that soul to try, until the dream comes true. So let the world be uncertain. Let outcomes twist and bend. I am not walking for applause or guarantees at end. I walk because the calling in my chest will not subdue. A fire that keeps on whispering, until the dream comes true. And one day, without warning, where effort used to be, I'll stand inside the answered prayer that once lived only in me. I'll smile at all the winding roads that led my heart here too, and thank the days I did not quit, until the dream came true. But even then I'll carry this truth: the journey grew. The dream was not the finish line. The dream was walking through. The road has carved its story in the silence of my stride, in blisters, breath, and quiet prayers I never spoke outside. Each mile became a memory, each ache a point of view, pain drawing maps of purpose, until the dream comes true. I've watched the seasons change me the way the rivers bend, softening the sharpest stones time could not defend. What once I called a breaking was shaping something new, the hand of slow becoming, until the dream comes true. I do not rush the sunrise though night feels far too long, for dawn has never failed the earth, it only takes it strong. So I become like morning, patient with the blue, certain light is coming, until the dream comes true. I've met the voice of doubt that speaks in careful tone. Be realistic. It says, don't build on hope alone. But hope is not a weakness, it's work we choose to do. A daily act of bravery until the dream comes true. Some friends have turned to strangers as the miles increased. Some chapters closed without a fight. Some fires quietly ceased. Yet every loss made space within my crowded view, for lessons dressed as leaving, until the dream comes true. I've learned to sit with questions that answers never chase, to breathe inside uncertainty without demanding grace. For life is not a straight line drawn in perfect hue. It's courage in the scribbles, until the dream comes true. The mirror now shows someone I once was scared to be. A soul with cracks of honesty, with eyes that finally see. Not flawless, not unshaken, not fearless through and through, but faithful to the journey, until the dream comes true. When envy tries to measure me by someone else's pace, I gently turn my eyes again toward my own running race. For stars don't lose their shining when others fill the view. The sky is wide for all of us, until the dream comes true. I've stopped asking the future for proof before I start. Stopped bargaining with destiny. Stopped arguing with heart. Some things are only given when we walk the tunnel through. Trust lighting every footstep, until the dream comes true. I carry now a softer strength that does not need to shout. A steady flame that lives within, not fed by fear or doubt. It glows in small obediences, in showing up when blue, in choosing hope repeatedly, until the dream comes true. If storms should rise around me with thunder in their hand, I'll anchor to the promises I may not understand. For roots grow deepest underground where skies are torn in two, invisible but holding until the dream comes true. I've made peace with slow progress, with steps that barely show. For mountains move in inches no hurried eyes can know. The climb is built of moments we simply must push through, breath stacked upon breath, until the dream comes true. And should I reach a valley where everything feels still, I'll listen for the quiet voice that lives beyond my will. It speaks in gentle nudges, in things I feel, not view, guiding without forcing, until the dream comes true. I am no longer chasing like I did in younger days. I'm walking with intention through ordinary ways. For greatness often hides inside the faithful and the few who keep on being present, until the dream comes true. One day I'll tell this story not with sorrow, but with grace, tracing every winding step that led me to my place. And I will thank the waiting that once I never knew, for teaching me to keep the faith, until the dream came true. But for now I keep on moving, through doubt, through dark, through dew, a heart set on the horizon, until the dream comes true. There's a rhythm to endurance, like waves upon the shore, a falling and a rising that teaches what we're for. Not every forward motion looks heroic in the view. Sometimes it's simply staying, until the dream comes true. I've held the hands of failure, let it speak into my ear. It told me where I stumbled, but not to live in fear. For every misstep whispered of a better path to pursue. Mistakes became directions, until the dream comes true. The sky does not apologize for storms it has to send, nor does the seed complain about the darkness it must spend. So I accept the hidden work my growing spirit knew, roots stretching through the unseen, until the dream comes true. I've walked through days so ordinary they almost slipped away. No thunderclap of progress, no grand display. Yet brick by brick the wall was built though no one praised the view. Small days became foundations, until the dream comes true. I used to think that bravery was loud and full of flame, but now I know it's quieter, and rarely dressed in fame. It's choosing not to give up when giving up would do. It's whispering not yet, until the dream comes true. The mirror shows more gentleness than I have seen before, a strength that does not bruise itself on every closing door. For not all rejections wound the way they used to do. Some simply say, keep walking, until the dream comes true. I carry now a lantern made of lessons learned in pain. It doesn't end the darkness, but it helps me see the lane. Enough to take the next step though the rest is out of view. Light for just this moment, until the dream comes true. If comparison should find me with its measuring disguise, I'll answer with the truth that every different path is wise.